like that and pushed. You outboxed the fucking best boxer in the world for rounds. You beat him at his own game. Your game plan was perfect. Perfect. He nicked it just at the end. He nicked it at the end. He was stopping around. That's all it was. But that fight up until 10 was dead fucking level. You was outboxing the best boxer in the world. Your stock rose, mate. You rose. Like you come out of that with victory, mate. Like honestly, you know, if there was any doubters out there now, bro, there's fucking none now at all.
On Saturday night, I'll be listening to Usyk versus Joshua exclusively live on TalkSport while I'm enjoying my Saturday night Chinese. Special fried rice, bosh. Special chow mein, bosh. Sweet and sour chicken balls, bosh. Sweet and sour chicken Hong Kong style, bosh. Salt and chili king prawn, bosh. Salt and chili chicken, bosh. Barbecue spare ribs, bosh. Roast pork Chinese style, bosh. Crispy aromatic duck, bosh. Chips, bosh. Prawn crackers, bosh. Curry sauce, bosh.
Okay.
Cause I'm coming for them belts, boy. You gonna see the raft of the new champ. Different energy, different spirit. Coming to win. I tried to learn boxing, stick and move. Isolating the sweet science of the sport, doctrinating my style. But we're going back to the raw, rugged streets. That's where I belong. I never followed no athletes growing up, no movie stars. I followed the hustlers, the Rayful Edmonds, the Jeff Ports, the Nicky Barnes, the Big Meaches, the Larry Hoover.
You're secure anyway.
No, Ben, it's gone past that, mate, because we've been here now since July talking, mate.
No. So I'm saying, if I can't get you that by the end of the week, then I just give you the 100 grand. But I don't want. I actually have looked up to you growing up. I don't want this situation with you. I think I can do what you want, but I've got to the point now where I feel like Sky have fucked me, and I know you don't care about that, but that I'm not going to fuck you. And I want, look, I know you say it's gone past the stage, but if I put in a contract where you've got, like, I've got to deliver.
Remember you're running your mouth, because when I bring people up here and I start cracking your glass jaws, none of you will like it. When your jaws start breaking, people start chasing you out of this uni, none of you will like it. Watch your mouths, because you don't know who you're talking to sometimes. I know, listen, all that public eye bullshit, I ain't into all that.
Yes, I'm on mute. Sorry about that. I was just saying, innit, with AJ, innit, like, when your glass jaws start breaking, people are gonna chase you out of this uni. It's like, AJ, I would love someone to ask him, why would somebody chase somebody out of uni for having a glass jaw and getting their glass jaw broken? That don't even make no fucking sense, AJ. I would love someone to ask him that, you know, AJ. What is the common sense in what you said there? When your glass jaws start breaking, people are going to chase you out of this uni. Why would they do that, AJ? You need to study. You need to get a degree. You need to go to the library. Why would anybody do that? Hopefully you can still hear me, right? You can still hear me. Let me just check my mic is plugged in. Yes it is. Jesus Christ. I thought, bloody hell. Alrighty ho. But what I have done is your comments will be coming through a little bit slower, actually, because I forgot to select the YouTube option, which makes the comments come through really fast, and that's the reason why. So your comments will be coming through a little bit slowly. Righty ho. Right, we are going. Yay! He made no sense, did he? It made no sense. Like, you need to study, man. You need to read books. Why would someone get chased out of uni for having their glass jaw get broken? It don't make no fucking sense. But, you know, Professor AJ, innit? He's got a PhD, yeah? As Richard says, he's got a PhD in the School of Hard Knocks. So AJ probably knows something that I don't. Right. I'm debating. I muted myself again by mistake. I'm debating whether I should show this video. It's Kell Brook. So let's have a look at the headline first, and then we'll decide. So it's Kell Brook in the Sun, all right, and it's champ Kell Brook, former world boxing champion, Kell Brook snorting a line of white powder at a party in his home. Line of white powder. Now maybe he's doing sax assault or something, or I don't know, something else. I don't know what the YouTube rules are around this, but look, I think this picture says it all. Now that I've seen this still, I'm not even sure that we need to show the video, to be honest with you, because I think this picture right here tells you all you need to know about what's in the video. So let's go through the stills first, and let's try and use our imagination. So this is Kell. There's that white substance on the table. That is what it is there in that second shot there. And there's the... and there's Kell. I mean, El Boxio saying it's caster sugar. You know what? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it's sax assault. Maybe it's smelling salts, actually, to be fair. Let's have a quick Google. Maybe Kell's just, you know... Maybe Kell's got some sinus problems going on. Could have a sinus problem. I mean, fucking Sun are really fucking, you know what I mean? The Sun are really jumping to conclusions here. Maybe Kell's got some kind of sinus problem and he needs to clear his sinuses out. So, look, you know what I mean? Nothing wrong with a bit of smelling salts there. Do you know what I mean? To clear the sinuses and all that. Do you know what I mean? It's quite, you know, like I said before, with it being quite cold in the UK at the moment, there you go. With it being quite cold in the UK at the moment, the air's become really dry because it's really cold outside. You know, I have a humidifier in this house because it can just get the humidity drops so much. So maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's what Kell is snorting there. What do you guys think? I'm trying everything I can here to give Kell the benefit of the doubt. But this fucking Sun newspaper article ain't looking too hot. Richard's saying the combo at the end, and he does throw a fucking combo at the end. It's a fucking dreadful. Yeah, there you go, Tony. Tony says he's always sounded a bit nasal to me. Maybe we're onto something here. Look at this. Look at this caption. Kell then appears for worse. Kell then appears worse for wears as he shadow boxes in front of a framed picture of him on the wall. And there you go. There's Kell of him on the wall, and there he's throwing punches there. More white powder is heaped next to a plastic wrap, and the star, nicknamed Special K, mumbles, "Nice." Jeez. The Sun have done him no favours here, have they? Jesus Christ. Where's this bag for the shite then that they're talking about? So, life after boxing for Kell Brook. He wants to come back to boxing ASAP, as you can see here. Liam Smith eyes Kell Brook in Triple G. Well, Triple G is ridiculous, but we know that Kell Brook's been eyeing up a fight potentially with Conor Benn. Obviously, we know Conor Benn's coming back soon and is going to come back to fight in Abu Dhabi. What do you guys think? It doesn't look too good, does it? It doesn't look too good. Yeah, that's it, Dexter Rico. Maybe it's a bit of self-raising flour going on. It is what it is. LD Phoenix says, the Sun who made negative coverage of Raheem Sterling buying his mum a house. Did they? Jesus Christ. I mean, this was always going to be the problem with Kell Brook, wasn't it? Life after boxing, isn't it? I mean, we all know Kell Brook's a complete nut job. Do you know what I mean? With all due respect, I love the guy to bits, but we all know Kell Brook's, you know, he's got his demons, isn't he? And it is what it is. How is he adjusting to life after boxing? Not very well by the looks of it. Do you know what? I just don't want to see, something happen to this guy, you know? I don't want to see something happen to this guy. Do you know that? Like, genuinely, like, I don't want to see his name trending on Twitter and we find out this guy's passed it or done something or overdosed or done something stupid, you know? So hopefully he just does what it does. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about what we're seeing from Kell Brook? You know, he's a guy who can't he can't adjust, can he? He's a guy who can't adjust to life after boxing. So I don't know what to say. There's a lot I could say, but I'm trying to keep it on the level and be sort of compassionate, you know, because I do think this isn't the last time you're going to hear stories about Kell Brook. I don't believe this is the last front page, or I don't believe this is the last news article that we're going to see involving Kell Brook. Yeah, up to no good. Like I said before, I think he's a guy who, without boxing, without professional fighting, don't think he knows what to do with himself. And so, you know, these kind of stories, you know, end up one way, don't they? For the most part, innit? They end up one way. They end up with rehab, yeah, and a book deal, or they end up with something else. Personally, I hope for Kell Brook's sake, it's rehab and a book deal. I hope it's not the other option. Basingstoke C said, Kell high in the lights. Jesus Christ almighty. I mean, if I wanted to, I could do an intro with Kell Brook putting his stuff up his nose and all of the lights running in the background, but that would be because Kell Brook's no doubt in it, lighting himself up in this video. Kell Brook's lighting himself up. I showed you this. This man's throwing a 3-punch combo, yeah, after after doing his business. Turn up the lights in here, baby. Do you know what they should have done, yeah? Instead of fucking filming this guy, because obviously Kell Brook has with snitches, because somebody's filmed this guy in his house and then sold it to the Sun newspaper. The bad news is, Kell's going to know who this is, innit? Like, whoever sold this video ain't the fucking smartest in the world, is it? Because Kell's going to know what this night was and who this was and who was next to him and who was in the house. So Kell's going to know, innit, yeah, who took this video of him and sold it to the Sun newspaper. So I'd imagine Kell Brook right now will be doing a... do you know what I mean? If I was that person that took that video of Kell Brook, I'll probably be vacating the Sheffield area right now. So if you see any U-Hauls, yeah, outside houses in Sheffield, and you know who the snitch is, I'd imagine right now, innit, he's got the U-Haul outside his house, packing his car, innit. It's time to go, innit. Better leave. Better never be seen around Sheffield again. Otherwise, they're going to be a big problem. Do you know what I mean? But to be honest, right, instead of filming him, yeah, instead of filming Kell, what he should have done is turned all the lights off in the house, and then he should have flicked the lighters on, innit? Do you know what I'm thinking, innit? Should have turned off all the lights in the house, and everyone should have got their lighters out. And, turn out the lights in here, baby. Extra bright. All the lyrics. You know what I mean? I want to see everything. I want to see all of the lights. Blatant. Get the lighters out. Turn the lights on, innit? Turn the lights on, innit? And let the man get high in peace, innit? That guy's lit up. Here's what it is. Richard says, whoever it was literally standing there, right there with his phone out. Oh my gosh, Kell Brook. It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. And there's the finished article. He's got a picture of himself up on the wall. He's got some kind of medal there. I mean, look, it is what it is. Barefoot there. He's got a nice floor, isn't he, Kell Brook? I like the colour of his sofa there. Do you know what I mean? Nice colour of the sofa, so that powder just blends in with the colour of the sofa. It's a good colour sofa to have, isn't it? Because you can just spill whatever you want all over it, and you wouldn't know any of the difference, would you? Look at that sofa. Jesus. Beautiful, isn't it? You can spill half a bag right over that sofa, and you wouldn't even know where it was. Just fucking blend right in, isn't it? Blend right in. It is what it is. Oh man, it is what it is. Right, I wonder if there are any comments on this story. Let's see if we can get some stuff online. Let's see if we can get some online reaction to Kell Brook. Kell Brook hangs around snitches, man. That's a fact of life. Kell Brook hangs around snitches. Dudes are taking videos of this guy and doing it. Oh gosh, here we go. Here's the video on Twitter. Look, someone's taking the piss. Look, they put, turn up the lights in here, baby. Extra bright. I want y'all to see this. Look, I will show you the combo he throws after. One set, look. This bit tops it. Hold on. I'll show you this bit. I don't want to show the actual thing, but look at this. One of the best combos he's ever thrown in his career, mate, if you ask me. What would you rate this? Look. Greatest punches of all time, look. Jesus Christ. It is absolutely shocking. British boxing is falling apart at the seams. Chuck says this will hurt his comeback. Sky aren't going to be too keen. What the fuck? Why would Sky not be keen for what? Listen, everybody at Sky is falling apart at the seams, right? Adam Smith is out because he's got to go to rehab, innit he? Will the book deal? Would you be interested in an Adam Smith book deal after he does rehab? You know Adam Smith because he's got a few issues. Adam Smith in it with gambling, isn't he? Like, would you buy an Adam Smith a book deal? Because you know how it goes, innit? Rehab first, book deal second, innit? Let's see that combo one more time. You got to see it. Sorry. Go get in there, Kel. Get in there. It is what it is, isn't it? But Adam Smith, innit? Adam Smith's in rehab, isn't he? So what's Sky gonna do? What are they literally like? The head of Sky Boxing literally had issues, innit? Like, look, Amir Khan fought on Sky. How much problems has Amir Khan got? Yeah, Chuck, what are you talking about? Sky aren't gonna be too keen. Bro, Amir Khan topped the bill on Sky after knocking out one on fucking Skype and filming himself knocking one out. He got filmed knocking one out on Skype to some bird. Khan, if Khan can top the bill, then Kell can top the bill. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think this will hurt Kell's career with Sky? Felix Mitchell says, "Nuff man a gambler. That's why them pocket broke, but Adam pocket full." Listen, talk about Adam Smith. That's another conversation for another day. Let's have a look here. Kell Brook getting pelters for doing the same thing the majority of men and women are doing every weekend in alehouse cubicles is a weird one. Everyone sharing the video of Kell Brook should be ashamed. The guy has clearly been struggling for a while and needs help. That's why I didn't want to share the video, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't want to share the video, for that reason. I didn't want to sort of, make fun of him at his lowest moment. So, I don't know. But that combo was kind of too good not to show, innit? Someone says here, all of the lines. Oh, jeez. Rate that 1 out of 10 for me. Rate that 1 out of 10. How would you rate that out of 10? All of the lines. Give me a score for that 1 out of 10, for that pun. Jesus fucking Christ. All of the lines. Fucking hell, Kell Brook. It's been a hell of a week, innit, in British boxing. So, you've got Ben Shalom, yeah, who's getting rinsed out by Billy Joe Saunders. And you've got Kell Brook, all of the lines. You've got Conor Benn back in Abu Dhabi. I mean, fucking hell. Told you, British boxing's never been so fucking clownish, in my humble opinion. Let's have a look here. Somebody's talking about Kell Brook being a role model. Look at this. It's a Class A drug. He's a role model to young kids, whether he's retired or not. Kell Brook ain't a fucking role model to no young kids. What do you guys think about that? Press 1 if you think Kell Brook's a role model to young kids. Man, ain't no fucking kids out there saying, when I grow up, I want to be just like Kell Brook. Come on, man. Let's be real. Kell Brook ain't no fucking role model, man. People need to calm down. Ain't like we're not talking about MJ here. We're not talking about Michael Jordan or LeBron James, man. People need to chill, man. We're talking about Kell Brook. Talking about Kell Brook. Ain't no one, Kell Brook ain't a role model to anybody. Like, I hate when people try and put that one, innit? Like, Brook's not harming anybody. He should be able to live his life the way he chooses. I disagree with the life choices that he's making, but he should be able to think like, why do people, can you see how people try and do that stuff? They try and like make a big deal. Oh, he's a role model to kids, so he should behave a certain way. Nah, he's not a role model. Listen, I don't have kids because I'm not stupid, yeah? But if you do have kids, you know, the father should be the role model to the fucking kids, not fucking Kell Brook. That's what I would say. Why is Kell Brook a role model to your kids? Isn't your job as a father to be the role model to your children? Like, when your father, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to be a role model to your kids are idolizing Kell Brook. That says more about your parenting skills, to be honest, than anything else. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. Dexter Rico says, we got to read between the lines here. I'm going to give you a 3 out of 10 for that, Dexter Rico. I'm going to give you a 3 out of 10 for that one, Dexter Rico. We've got to read between the lines here. If anybody else has got any puns they'd like to give in, give me a fair thing. There you go. Another great role. I think you're taking a piss here. Kell should be ashamed. Nah, come on. Kell's not a role model, but I think you're taking a piss there. Let me ask you a question. Who do you think are actual, like, genuine, like, role models in British boxing? Like, Anthony Joshua, because he's a huge, like, star in British boxing. To me, I would put him like he's a role model, but I would say, yeah, he's a wild. I wouldn't ever put Kell Brook on that kind of level, though. I don't know, I could be wrong. A Black says he's crossed the line. I'll give you a 2 out of 10 for that. A Blacks, he's crossed the line. I'll give you a 2 out of 10. Richard says, how many of these youngsters stayed up for the Sean Porter fight in nearly 10 years? Kell Brook ain't no role model. Ain't no young kids growing up. Maybe a couple kids in gyms around Sheffield, but ain't no kids growing up, yeah, trying to be... And you know what, honestly, the amount of boxers... I mean, let me tell you something. I've got to be very, very careful what I say here. Right, so... if you watch IFL TV, how many people do you think on IFL TV are teetotal? I've got to be very careful what I say, actually, so I'm not going to do it. How many people do you think in these IFL TV interviews that do you think are teetotal? I think it's less than 50%, you know. I've seen some IFL TV videos, yeah, and I have seen some boxers in these videos that are absolutely fucking off their knocker. There's one in particular who is a role model of mine. There's one in particular, and my God, I saw him a couple of years ago at a fight on IFL TV, and Lord, this guy was absolutely gone. It was so obvious he was gone. There's 2 boxers in particular that I can think of that are that go on IFL TV, and every time they're on IFL TV, you know, innit? You know they ain't teetotal. There's 2 in particular that are just fucking hell. You can tell they are absolutely gassed off of it. It is what it is. LD Phoenix says, Ultra, if the birth rate keeps declining, do you think they'll start taxing the childless? Yeah, of course. Like people like me who don't want kids are the problem in society, innit? We've had that discussion before on social media multiple times. Do you know what I mean? I keep trying to explain to people that, but anyway, it is what it is, isn't it? I'm not going to get into that argument, but I've got my own opinions on that. But yeah, I've been told basically that we need to populate the earth no matter what, because the NHS needs workers. So if we don't just keep breeding people non-stop, there'll be nobody to look after the elderly, and the NHS needs workers. So we need to keep doing that. But me personally, I ain't about that life, to be honest. It's not for me. Average cost of a child is £200,000 per child to the age of 18. I don't have £200,000, and I won't be getting £200,000 in total income in the next 18 years, most likely. So therefore, I don't have £200,000 spare in the next 18 years in disposable income. So therefore, for me, the maths don't make sense for me. But it is what it is. Iron's Analysis says, is it Calzaghe land? No, I'm talking about boxers. It's not Calzaghe land. It is what it is. Iron says, Ultra, you should get donations, mate. If I ever lose my job and go broke, maybe we'll have a talk about it. But right now, I'm employed. So, like I said before, I'm employed. I'm not a professional YouTuber because YouTube isn't a real job. It's a laugh. So, therefore, I don't take donations. That's just the way I roll things. Yeah, each to their own. Each to their own. Let's have a look here. Well, let me just see, Alan Smith. Yeah. So anyway, Kell Brook, all of the lines. I just hope there's not going to be a disaster, to be honest. With Kell Brook. Someone mentioned donations. You know what they want, don't you?
Donations. Gifts. More gifts.
Right. Should we move on from Kell? Let's move on from Kell. Is Kell coming back? Yeah, he'll be back in the boxing ring. He can't give it up, can he? He can't get over the higher boxing. Mate, listen, when you walk out, I'd imagine, when you walk out in front of 30,000 people, yeah, and they've turned off all the lights, right, and people are shining their phones and fucking holding up lighters in the sky, and they're singing along to your theme tune, yeah, and then you go in the ring and you knock somebody out in 6 rounds, right, and all of the world's press and media are harassing you and hounding you, and everybody wants a piece of you. Do you know how hard it is to go back to shopping in Tesco's? Do you know how hard it is to waking up, yeah, next Tuesday morning, everybody forgets about your fight and you're back in Tesco's buying a meal deal on the way to the gym? Or you're off in fucking Shell Garage, yeah, buying a fucking Lucozade and a fucking wrap, yeah, before you go to the gym to get your training in. Mate, Like, for these guys, it must be so difficult. They walk into Shell Garage, and they must walk into Shell Garage to pick up a Lucozade, yeah, or a bottle of Prime, innit? And Kell Brook must think, why are the lights switched on? Can you imagine being Kell Brook after he knocked out Amir Khan? That guy must have got out of his car, went to fill the petrol station. He must have walked straight into Shell and thought, why are the lights switched on? Why is my theme tune not playing? Why is my music not playing? Why are people not shining lighters in the sky? What's going on? Where's the camera? Why is there no camera in my face here? Fuck's going on, like? It's fucking on, mate. That's what I would do, mate. That's what I would do. If I was Kell Brook, yeah, filling my car up in Shell, I'd be like, excuse me, can you turn the lights off? Can you turn the lights off? And can you please start shining lights and play some music, please? Listen, I'm Kell Brook. What the fuck's going on here? Of course, LD Phoenix. They need that fight high, and they can't. It's like a drug, innit? The same thing happens to wrestlers, professional wrestlers. Even though they're pretending to hurt each other, even though they're, 200-pound roid heads, yeah, or 300-pound roid heads, in underwear, pretending to hurt each other. Do you know what I mean? They struggle as well. They really struggle wrestling, innit? Walk out on Monday Night Raw to a crowd of 20,000, or walk out in WrestleMania, and all the fireworks are going off. Look, I don't know how Goldberg does it. Is Chevin here? How does Goldberg, yeah, adjust to real life? Bro, if I was Bill Goldberg, yeah, and I was walking through the door of my house, I'd be sitting there. If I walked through the door of my house and I was Bill Goldberg, every time I walk through the door, I'd be thinking, where's the smoke? Where's the fireworks at? Like, what? Why am I not breathing any smoke? Where's the fireworks? Like, where's the, you know what I mean? Like, you just, it must be real hard, isn't it? How'd you go back from that? How'd you go back from that? I don't understand, innit? Every time you make an entrance, like, I'd be like, Goldberg must walk through his door. He must be thinking, where's my police escorts? Escorting me out, innit? Where's the police? Where's my police escorts, innit? It's hard. It's tough, man. It's hard. Skyliner says, where's his so-called friend Hearn? Fucking hell. Ah, dear. I'm going to slip that topic. Like I said before, you'd be surprised what goes on in the sport of boxing. And what goes on. Look at this. Wife Lindsay, 35, who was often seen in his ring after their fights, and their 3 children were believed to be away. Well, we know Kell Brook's wife is gone because Ebony Bridges went and told everybody. So we know what goes on, innit? Don't we? We know what goes on because Ebony Bridges went and snitched on. See, Kell Brook needs to stop surrounding himself with snitches. Remember when Ebony Bridges snitched on Kell Brook and told everybody he's split up with his wife? Because remember that? When we thought Ebony was going out with Kell. See if I can get that tweet up. When we thought Ebony was going out with Kell Bridges. Here we go. Do you remember this? And Ebony coming out on Twitter saying, well, actually, Kell and his wife split up like 2 years ago. It's like, Kell needs to stop fucking with these snitches, man. Too many people out here putting Kell Brook business up in these streets, though, man. What's wrong with these people? It is what it is. Ebony Bridges told people straight, nah, Kell's wife is long gone. Cheers, Ebony, thanks. So, I think there was something going on, innit? I do think there was something going on here. And it is what it is. And Kell Brook's a good-looking guy. Kell Brook's a good-looking guy, and he's still in good shape. He's definitely coming back to fight. He's definitely coming back to fight. If you look at him, he ain't even far away from fight shape. If you look at him, forget the combination. If you just look at Kell, look at the state of Kell. Kell is trim. This is a guy, if you look at Kell after the Golovkin fight, I think it was, he blew up to all kinds of fucking weight, man. Kell is trim, and he's been trim ever since he's retired. So, you know the outcome. He's coming back to the ring. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh dear, someone's mentioning Gareth A. Davis. Jesus fucking Christ almighty. Hold on. Look. And let me see if I can get him up on some of his thumbnails up. Look at this, look. Gareth A. Davis. He's another one. Let me get some of his thumbnails up there, look. The gad. Are you telling me he's teetotal? There's no fucking way. Gareth A. Davis out here living life like a rock star. Look, but see how IFL TV is so snitchy, how IFL TV are. They're proper snitchy. Look at these thumbnails, man. They're proper out here ratting on people with these thumbnails, making it known, innit? Look at that thumbnail, man. They got a professional journalist up in here blowing smoke like that. Leaving nothing to the imagination, innit? Look at this. Look. Everything they've got of Gareth A. Davis is Gareth A. Davis smoking, vaping, or drinking. So can you see the subliminal messages they're trying to put in your mind, innit? Proper rats, innit? Proper ratting him out. If he's teetotal, I'm a Dutchman's uncle, but it is what it is. But anyway, I'm not going to go through any names. It is what it is. Someone said he asked White if he showers before a fight. Yeah, why is he asking Dillian White that? We all know the answer's no. We all know the answer's no. Irons Analysis says, do you remember when Gareth asked Dillian doing an interview with Cougs if he showered pre-fight? White gave him the 30th look. Did you have a shower? I don't understand, like, can somebody, genuinely, I've never had a fight yet, but can someone make me understand, like, why would you have a shower pre-fight? What's the point of that? Can somebody tell me that? Because you're supposed to go backstage, right? You're supposed to hit the pads, shadow box, warm up. The whole point is you're supposed to work up a sweat. Aren't you supposed to work up a sweat before you go out to the ring, innit? You're not supposed to go to the ring without working up a sweat, innit? You're supposed to come to the ring looking like fucking Psycho Sid. Have you guys not learned anything from professional wrestling? Do you not remember watching Psycho Sid come to the ring as a kid? Let me get the pictures up. Do you not remember Psycho Sid coming to the ring? Did Psycho Sid ever come to the ring without working up a sweat? Do you know what I mean? Like, listen, pro wrestling teach you many things about life and how to conduct yourself in life and whatnot. Like, it's just rule number one, isn't it? Like, Sid Vicious always worked up a sweat. He worked up a full sweat, yeah? Full sweat before he came to the ring. A full sweat. So, why would you have a shower beforehand? It don't make no fucking sense. Don't make no sense. Martin Butler said, imagine if he asked John Fury the same about when he was with John Fury doesn't shower, period. Have you seen how John Fury lives? He hasn't even got space for a shower. Look. Have you seen the episode of Camping with John Fury? Where was that? There we go. Cooking with John Fury. He cooked some grade A shite on this, didn't he? Fucking hell. He cooked some grade A bollocks on this. Andy Purwell out there. Fair play to Andy Purwell. Andy Purwell's game as a badger, you know. He's fucking game as a badger, isn't he? Letting Big Sean Fury cook through. Nah, I ain't doing that, bro. Hey, press one if you let Big Joe Fury cook for you. Hey. Andy Purwell's game as a badger, mate. Ain't no fucking way I'm letting him. Ain't no fucking way, yeah, on this planet that I'm letting Big John Fury cook for me. We're just saying proper cremated in pork chops. Nah, I don't know that. Big John, innit? Like, I don't know. Like, it was what it was, innit? Like cooking. Did he use any seasoning? Boxing Social is no longer owned by, it's no longer run by Tebbet, is it? If this was run by Tebbet, we could play this video because I'm on good terms with Rob Tebbet. So if Boxing Social was still Rob Tebbet and Andy Purwell, I could play this video for you. We can go through it because I'm on good terms with them. But boy, this was funny as hell, innit? Yeah, need some Creole seasoning. Creole, look, Cajun, look. They call this Big John Fury pork chops Cajun style. Look at this. Hold on, let me see if we can get a still from the video. One sec. Let me just see if I can get a still of it. I'm not going to play the video, but let me just see. I'm just taking it off. Let me see if I can just get a still. Why would Rob Tebbet come on this show? Rob Tebbet's got much better things to do than come on this show. This show's way too small potatoes for Rob Tebbet. Even though, it's a weird one, isn't it? It's like, this show's kind of small potatoes, but I was checking some numbers last night, and there were some channels out there with nearly 20,000 subs. And we were doing double the numbers they did on Beterbiev and Yarde last night. It's a weird one, isn't it? Really, we've only got like less than 3,000 subs, but if you actually look at some of the big lives that we're doing, they're channels that have got 15, 20,000 subs. They ain't actually doing the live numbers that we do, believe it or not. I'm just trying to get you a still of what Big John's cooking. Hold on, let me get this. Here we go. So let me get some of this veg in here. Give me a score for this veg. Can you see that? There's Big John Fury. He's got some... What's he got? What's that yellow shit? Butternut squash or something? I didn't think Big John Fury was a butternut squash man, to be fair. What's he got in there? But look at that broth that's coming off it. Like, you can tell Big John Fury don't believe in stock pots, does he? Doesn't believe in stock pots, does he? Like, if you're going to cook like that, mate, can't just let veg come out of water like that, innit? You need to add something to the water. You need to flavour the water. Nor need to get on to Big John Fury. Let me tell you what Big John Fury needs to use for his cooking. He needs to start using Knorr stock pot. See, when you cook vegetables like this and you needed a bit of seasoning for them vegetables, yeah? Right? This stuff is a godsend. Look, here you go. Knorr stock pot. Someone needs to get him on that. Yeah, Knorr stock pot. This morning, YouTube showing that you did 10k on last night's live. Crazy numbers. Last night's live was okay. We topped out at 320, which... it's good. It's not amazing. We've done shows on this channel that I've got 20,000 and we've had like 800. You know, Rich, we've had 700, 800 people in here. So, but it was all right. We did okay. Certainly punch above our weight. Yeah, looks like roadkill. Yeah, that veg looked well dodgy. Let's have a quick look at something else. I want to see this meat that Big John be cooking. Andy Purow. This meal is probably the reason Andy Purow left Boxing Social. Never saw Andy Purow on Boxing Social again after Big John Fury then cooked this food for a minute. Do you find that ironic? After Big John Fury done cooked this meal for Andy Purow. And pork, you can't fuck around with pork, you know, because if you undercook it, you know what you're going to get in it. So pork is like one of them last things that you can't cook around. There's Big John Fury just putting some branches and twigs in the pan there. I don't know if you see that. Trying to get it there, but Big John Fury's putting in some fucking branches and twigs in that pan as well. What is he putting in there? What is going on there? Anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is. Camping life with John Fury. But anyway, talking about showers. Where's the shower? There ain't no room for a shower in there. So we know the answer to that. We don't need Gareth A. Davis to tell us the answer to that. Let's have a look here. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, let's talk about. I want to talk about this fall. So Conor Benn could fight Manny Pacquiao in stunning comeback after failed drugs test and cancelled Chris Eubank Jr. bout. So this is the latest from Willie Downs Jr. He's convinced that Conor Benn will be fighting in Abu Dhabi. So this was a couple of days ago. Conor Benn could make his ring return in an Abu Dhabi spectacular against ring legend Manny Pacquiao. Blah, 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 blah. Talking about clomiphene. He's talking about 2 VADA samples. There's Chris Eubank Jr. It is what it is. There's Manny Pacquiao. Blah, 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 blah. There's a poll here. Who do you think will win, Benn or Pacquiao? I'll just say Conor Benn for the lols. Look, 55% went for Manny Pacquiao. Interesting. So yeah, Wally Downs Jr. thinks that we'll get onto this in a minute. Wally Downs Jr. is convinced that Conor Benn is fighting in Abu Dhabi on a Matchroom show. So you will be seeing him back very, very soon. I think basically what they're waiting, they're just waiting for the WBC to give in, aren't they? That seems to be the game plan, isn't it? Wait for the WBC to give in, yeah? Put Conor Benn back in the top 5 rankings and then get him out in Abu Dhabi and say he's cleared, isn't he? Because the WBC, who don't even have the power to ban him from boxing anyway, but they're going to say, well, the WBC have said he's fine to box, so he's fine to box. And that's the route they're going to go down quite clearly, isn't it? What do you guys think? That's the route they're going to go down quite clearly. I mean, like I said before, Conor Benn doing himself no favours on social media. He's tweeting people saying, he's tweeting the British Boxing Board of Control, and he's saying things like, don't worry, my lawyers will be in touch very soon. But to me, Conor Benn's just using more very, very clever, evasive wording. Because can you see this? Don't worry, Robert Smith, you'll be hearing from my lawyers. Well, to be honest, Conor Benn, Robert Smith doesn't even want to hear from your lawyers. He just wants that 270-page document that you got. Do you know what I mean? There's a big difference between hearing from my lawyers and that 270-page document. Like, the lawyers might ring up Robert Smith and say, we're not giving it to you. The lawyers might ring up Robert Smith and say, look, you know, Conor Benn is not a licensed British Boxing Board of Control fighter, so you don't have the rights to request anything from us. We're just not going to deal with you. We're going to ignore you. That's what Conor Benn's lawyers could say. So it's very, very clever wording from Conor Benn, isn't it? Very, very clever wording from Conor Benn. Don't worry, Robert Smith, you'll be hearing from my lawyers. Well, that's not the same as Robert Smith, you'll be getting that document shortly. So Conor Benn has been to the Eddie Hearn school of doublespeak, isn't he? He's very, very well schooled by the Jedi Master Eddie Hearn on subterfuge, effusion, and doublespeak. Yeah, no worries, PG. No worries, PG. No, absolutely. I shouldn't be giving you advice. Jesus, you're on another level to me, PG. Toby, I haven't watched your videos yet, but I will watch them this week. I promise you, and I will try to get back to you if I'm still alive by then. So yeah, like I said before, it's a very, very evasive statement there from Conor Benn. You'll be hearing from my lawyers. Conor, what they want to see is the document. That's all they want. And Robert Smith has gone on record as saying that. Robert Smith has gone on record as saying, right? And I'm not going to play the interview, but the interview is with ID Boxing. And Robert Smith done an interview with ID Boxing, and he's on record as saying, right, they asked him, what is it specifically that you want from Conor Benn? And they said, we want to see the reason, his reasoning for why that substance was in his system. That's all they want. They want the reasoning for why that substance was in his system. And he said so far, they haven't received any explanation at all for why that substance was in his system. And those aren't my words. Those are the words of Robert Smith in this interview with ID Boxing. That's what he said. He has said they've had no explanation as to how these substances got in his system. So that's what they want. They don't want to hear from lawyers per se, for the sake of hearing from lawyers. You know, they want to hear from his lawyers if his lawyers are going to hand over the document or explain, you know, how this shit got in his system so they can make an informed decision. But it is what it is. This is something very, very interesting that I just missed out on. I don't want to do any DAZN bashing, but I did see this video, and this is very, very interesting. Simon Jordan continues to just mercilessly murder Eddie Hearn. Is Eddie Hearn appeared yet on Simon Jordan's show? Can anybody tell me if Eddie Hearn's appeared yet on TalkSport on Simon Jordan's show? Because he said he would appear, didn't he? Didn't he say he had no problem going on? And he's never been seen since, innit? It's funny because Eddie Hearn, we see him on every fucking show, innit? Have you noticed there's the two shows that I've not seen Eddie Hearn on? Let me know if you think this is interesting or not. I see Eddie Hearn all over, but there's two places that I haven't seen him on at the minute. One of them is ID Boxing. I see him on there regular. Let's see. Who is he talking with here? Let's see in this one. Is he talking about, right, the Conor Benn latest? He talks about that for 60 seconds on the Conor Benn latest. It's interesting. I haven't really seen him sit. I spoke to Rob Tebbert a couple of weeks ago. About a month ago. I spoke to Rob Tebbert a month ago. And I spoke to Rob and I said, Rob, in fact, I'll show you it. The tweet. I asked Rob on Twitter directly. Hold on. I asked Rob, have you had a chance to sit down with Hearn yet? Because he gave 45 minutes to Kugan Cassius. And I'll show you Rob's answer. If I can get it. I think his handle is it Tebbert with a double B or Tebbert with a... Okay, I can't find it now. Maybe I've spelt it wrong. But I definitely spoke to Rob on Twitter. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, no. Someone said that to Rob. But I'll let you know when I find it. Here we go. Here it is. Look. Rob. Has Eddie got... This is December. So this is last month, right? About 2 months ago. Me talking to Rob, yeah? Rob, has Eddie Hearn got back to you on Conor Benn yet? I saw he gave 45 minutes to Kugan Cassius on the matter. Did he ever get back to you on these scientists and the specialist who was going to test that B sample? This is Rob Tebbert directly. Haven't spoken to Hearn in a little while, mate. Hopefully catch up with him soon. When I interviewed Mauricio Suleiman in Mexico, he said the B sample process was finished, so take from that what you will. So there's Rob himself. You see, when I spoke to Rob in early December, he hadn't heard from Eddie Hearn. So... it is what it is, isn't it? Very, very interesting, isn't it? You know, but Simon Jordan continues to hunt him down, doesn't he? And he says the DAZN shows aren't good enough. I mean, look, somebody asked me last night. Somebody said, somebody said, Ultra, you know, are we getting to the point where we're just not bashing Matchroom anymore because, you know, they're irrelevant? And you know what it is? It's not because Matchroom are irrelevant, because somebody posted a list of the next big fights, three big fights that Matchroom could run in this country, and they're huge fights, like Canelo versus John Ryder, Boazzi versus Bivol, and then other fights as well. There were some other fights as well, and then Callum Smith versus Beterbiev. I mean, look, those you could say, look, those if they can get that schedule going for the first half of the year, then that is the biggest three fights in British boxing. You know, three of the biggest fights, you know, that are going to be held in British boxing on these shores. So, you know, if you look at that point of view and say, well, they could do Callum Smith versus Beterbiev, Bivol versus Boazzi, and Canelo, and then get Canelo to the UK versus Ryder. I mean, look, you'd have to sit on the evidence of that. You know, there is an argument. Yeah, Matchroom still are on top in the UK. Absolutely. But to be honest with you, somebody asked me, you know, about Matchroom. For me, they're not as strong as they used to be. And that is the reason why, if you've looked at this channel the last 6 to 9, 12 months, pretty much ever since they signed up for DAZN, you know, we don't really do the Matchroom bashing anymore, because it's almost like kicking a dead horse, isn't it? It's almost like, do you know what I mean? Don't want to kick a person while they're down. I'm actually starting to feel sorry for Matchroom. Never thought in my lifetime I would see myself feeling sorry for Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn, but genuinely, like, I am starting to feel sorry for them, because it to me it does appear like they genuinely have bitten off a bit more than they can chew, and it does appear to me like Eddie Hearn has made a bit of a mistake there, and I think that mistake's probably going to. I think boxing is cyclical, isn't it? I think that mistake is pretty much going to cost them quite significantly down the line. But what do you guys think about Simon Jordan? Do you think he's a hater? Do you think he's like Ultra? Do you think he's a hater on DAZN? Do you think the quality of boxing? I mean, what do you think about DAZN? Those of you who are, you know, DAZN subscribers, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the quality? Yeah, let me ask you, if you're a DAZN subscriber, how do you feel about DAZN and the quality of boxing that's on there? You know, how do you feel about the quality of boxing that's on DAZN and what's on offer? Let's have a quick look. You're Boxing Your Way, monthly subscription, £7.99 a month. What can I get for £7.99 a month? Just out of interest. How much is Netflix? Just out of interest. I've never watched Netflix in all my life. I don't watch it. It's bollocks. Mrs. Ultra spends copious amounts of time watching it, but I don't watch Netflix. I think it's a load of garbage. But how much does Netflix cost? $4.99. You can get a plan on Netflix, so you can see it here. You can get a plan on Netflix for $4.99. I don't know. I mean, it's not the same thing, is it? But for $7.99, let's see. Sign up now. Let's have a look at what's on DAZN. Let's have a look. What am I getting for $7.99? Month of February. Serrano versus Cruz fight night. Is this women's boxing night? They got Serrano and Erica Cruz, and they've got Baumgartner, and then they've got Sky Nicholson. Cough, 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 cough. Sky Nicholson. And some other fighters. I mean, and Ramla Ali. Look, I mean, if you're one of these quote unquote boxing hardcore fans, innit, that, you know, watches, you know, obscure cards in the middle of the night and stuff, then yeah, this might be it for you. Yeah, it's all value, innit? But to me, if I'm being honest with you, I cannot. DAZN have been going for what, a year plus in the UK, right? A year plus in the UK. I look at this schedule, I'm being honest, right? And this, to me, does not signify that the game's been changed. Press 1 if you agree with me, press 2 if you disagree. People are going to call me haters, you're not a hardcore fan of boxing. They're going to talk about how... I've seen people say that this women's boxing card is the card of the year and all this fucking shit. You know my opinions on levels in boxing? You know my opinions in levels in boxing, yeah? Right? From being in the gym, you know my opinion on levels in boxing and... levels in boxing between, you know, the genders, shall we say. You know my opinions on that, right? So it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Listen, let's put it this way. I'm one of the, today in sparring, yeah, I had a light spar and I still nearly got dropped with a fucking left hook to the body in light sparring. No joke. I still nearly got dropped, yeah, to the body today in light sparring by somebody who ain't even a boxer. And I can hold my own with certain female boxers that have been on Sky Sports. So there definitely are question marks about the quality, in my opinion, about the depth. But maybe that will change. You know, Wood versus Lara. You know, Lewis Neri's a very, very good fighter. Then you've got the misfits here, which is where they're getting the money, the misfits. And look, like I said before, like good fights for hardcore boxing fans. But if I'm being honest, if somebody asked me, was this worth Maya Jama in a low cut top with Tony Bellew parading through? You got to remember, these Muppets paraded through London in a low top bus saying game changed. Shall I bring in a video? Am I lying or not? Did they not say specifically the game changed? Things were never going to be the same. We were going to see things from the zone that we'd never ever seen before in UK boxing. That's what we were told, right? I mean, I remember the fucking press review with Bellew and Maya Jama. And they were saying they were gonna do things, and they were making a big deal out of it. And what were they saying? They were saying it was it was going to be Matchroom doing the production, wasn't it? It was Matchroom. What was that name of the company? Matchroom Productions or something. So it wasn't going to be Sky producing the shows. Matchroom were going to have full control over the production, and it was going to be absolutely unbelievable. And we've never seen anything like it before. And what did they say about the zone? They said, we're going to see fighters that you couldn't see on Sky. Press 1 if I'm lying, or press 2 if I couldn't. Didn't they say that the whole point of the zone was, in the UK, was you were going to see fights on the zone, yeah, that just weren't possible to do on Sky? Am I right or wrong? Like, wasn't that the point of, like, what Eddie Hearn was saying when he moved from Sky to the zone? He just said, the budget that he was going to have on the zone was going to be so big that we were going to see so much quality fights that we was never going to see on Sky. Press 1 if I heard that right, or press 2 if I misheard. I could have sworn this was the stuff that he was saying, and here you go. You can see on the screen here, you got the fucking, the open top bus and this and that. Look, here you go. This is the zone with the open top bus in the middle of Oxford Street and stuff, and blah blah blah, and just it is what they did say that, didn't they? They did say that. They said all of this stuff, They're going to be showing fights that, you can't see on Sky, and the quality of fights every month, and, this and that, game change. You see here the open top bus moving through London, and like I said before, you market yourself like that, people are going to hold you to that standard, Has the game been changed? I don't think it has, but maybe I'm just a hater who knows nothing. Maybe I need to check the pay-per-view sales. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I spend too much time in the boxing gym. Maybe I need to get out of the boxing gym and stop training and start looking at pay-per-view numbers and who's a star. Maybe I need to start doing that. It's probably my fault. Maybe I need to start paying attention to who's a star, who's not a star. Who Al Heyman's paying, who Al Heyman isn't paying, and or maybe that's what I need to pay attention to. But I'm just being honest, like, the general perception is, right, regardless of what you think about me or anybody else, I think the general perception of DAZN in the UK is that it hasn't lived up to expectations. Do you know what I mean? That's my opinion. Look at this stuff. Look, you can see it here. DAZN changes the game. Look at this. DAZN changes the game. Look at this stuff. You either follow the rule. Look at this stuff. You either follow the rule book, or you break it, or you eat it. That's a bit of an ironic picture of Conor Benn there, isn't it? Do you know that's a bit ironic? Look at that. Do you think that's one of the most ironic pictures you've ever seen? A picture of Conor Benn with the caption, "You either follow the rule book or you eat it." Jesus Christ. Wow, that turned out to be quite prophetic, didn't it? What do you think? That turned out to be very, very prophetic. Indeed, didn't it? Conor Benn on a poster of DAZN. You either follow the rule book or you eat it. Well, that's very ironic, because there are definitely big question marks over whether Conor Benn has been following the rule books. And like I said before, it's turned into YouTube boxing, isn't it? And that's the thing for me. Look, when DAZN first started, I was told, look, DAZN is for hardcore fans. It's not for casual fans. It's all for the fans who want to, watch Estrada and Chocolito. Do you remember that? It's not for the casual fans. It's for proper fight fans. It's for hardcore boxing fans who want to, watch, Estrada and Chocolito and fucking Rings of Eye and all these Japanese flyweights and all these fighters. It's basically for grown-up boxing fans. It's for hardcore grown-up boxing fans. But actually, when you look at what DAZN have actually put on, really, they've been the biggest purveyor of Mickey Mouse YouTube boxing that we've seen in British boxing, haven't we? Am I lying or not? Press 1 if you agree, press 2 if you disagree. I just find that a bit of a contradiction. What do you think? I'm just being honest, right? I find that a bit of a contradiction, that when they don't show like big fights, but they, you know, when they don't show like blockbuster fights, but they show, you know, good quality world class fights, you know, from abroad and stuff. It's, look, you know, don't hate on DAZN. They're showing good quality world class fights and things like that. And Estrada and Chocolito, these are pound for pound greats, flyweights. You just don't appreciate boxing. You're a casual fan. You know, you're not a top guy. DAZN's for hardcores. You know, look at all these quality women's boxing cards they're putting on. You know, Ultra. You're not a fan of the sport because you don't want to see Serrano and Erica Cruz or Baumgartner and such and such, and you know, only hardcore boxing fans can understand this and that, and it's all about who's a star and who's a pay-per-view star. But then you actually look at them really, and well, if they're for the hardcore boxing fan, then I have to say they do put on an awful amount of YouTube products, don't they? I mean, if you look at these cards here, I mean, look, AJ Bronca versus Carla Howe, Astrid Wett versus Keeley, Slim versus Ryan Taylor. Swarms shouldn't be anywhere near a boxing ring, with all due respect, right? I think we can all agree on that. Like, I'm all for YouTube boxing, right? But Swarm shouldn't be anywhere near a boxing ring. I mean, that guy has no skill whatsoever. He's got heart and toughness, absolutely, but he doesn't have the requisite skill, in my opinion, to be in a boxing ring with, you know, under the lights, in my opinion. And then we go through to, you know, putting fights like KSI and Alex Wasabi on pay-per-view after you built your entire brand on saying that pay-per-view was dead. So look, for me personally, I don't see how anybody really could criticize Simon Jordan for saying that DAZN shows aren't good enough, you know? You know, like I said before, I think if you build yourself a reputation as a pay-per-view killer, if you build yourself a reputation as being a pay-per-view killer, and then you put the likes of Alex Wasabi versus fucking KSI on DAZN pay-per-view, then you're asking for criticism, in my opinion. Me personally, I don't really lay into DAZN or Matchroom anymore. As you've probably heard on this channel, you've probably noticed recently, the last year or so, I don't really lay into DAZN or Matchroom anymore. Because, like I said before, it's like kicking a horse while it's down on the floor. Like, you can see things aren't the same. You can see things aren't how they used to be. You know what I mean? And you can see, you know, the power isn't there anymore. We've all seen Joshua Buatsi. You know, listen, let me ask you guys a question, hand on heart, right? And I'm sure Joshua Buatsi will stay with Matchroom and go on to fight Bivol and everything like that. But can I ask you guys a genuine question, right? Genuine question, right? 10 years ago, when Frank had Box Nation, do you think Joshua Buatsi would turn up to do live commentary on a Box Nation show? One, if you think he would. Two, if you think he wouldn't. Do you think 10 years ago, Joshua Buatsi would have turned up on a Box Nation show to do live punditry? Live on Box Nation for an Anthony Yarde fight. Do you think that would have happened 10 years ago when Frank was on Box Nation and Eddie was on Sky and Matchroom? I don't think that would have happened X amount of years ago, you know. I personally don't think it would have happened. But it's happening now, isn't it? Why is that happening? Why is that happening? Why is that happening now? 10 years ago, when... well, I'll tell you, I was going to say something else there. But yeah, I could be wrong. But I don't think things like this would be allowed to happen years ago. I don't think you'd see photos like this 10 years ago when Box Nation was on. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But I don't see it, you know. So I think personally, for me... You know, certainly in terms of the UK boxing, for me, the tide is clearly, for me, the tide is clearly turning, you know. The tide is absolutely clearly turning, you know, for me. And I think that, you know, George Warren, I'll quickly say this, and I'll move on, because I don't like talking about promoters too much, but I want to say this, I want to give this guy his flowers. George Warren is a serious force to be reckoned with, man. I've just got to tell you that right now. Like, George Warren is the guy. Like, he is the guy. Like, people are slagging off Frank and stuff. I don't think they realise, like, Frank is being phased out of Queensbury. You can clearly see it. Like, Frankie's got bad health. I didn't see Frank at the Anthony Yarde show last night. I think he's got bad health, and I really hope he's okay. And I think Frank is on the verge. Frank's like Vince McMahon. He will never step down. But Frank is on the verge of being phased out. Simple as that. Right? Frank is on the verge of being phased out. So a lot of people are attributing things to Frank, which Frank's really got nothing to do with. Do you know what I mean? Really, the brains behind Queensbury is George Warren. George Warren is a very, very, very serious piece of kit. And that's all I can tell you about that. Like, genuine, like, the difference between, genuinely, hand on heart, yeah? I just hope Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, I just pray Oh, Frank was there yesterday, was he? I didn't see him. Well, I'm glad he was there because I was a bit worried about him, actually. I nearly asked, but I promise you, for Matchroom's sake, I pray to God, yeah, for Matchroom's sake, that Eddie Hearn stays in boxing with Matchroom for as long as possible and never gives up the job. Because I'm just telling you right now, you never ever want to be in a situation where you've got Frank Smith on one side and George Warren on the other side. Because I can tell you now, for a cast iron fact, that's only going to end one way. I don't care what anybody says. That is only going to end one way. So I hope, I hope for those people in Essex that are living, I hope Eddie Hearn stays in the game for another 25, 30, 40 years. Because if he ever hands over the reins to Frank Smith, I've said this for years, and you get in a situation where it's Frank Smith and fucking Frank Smith versus George Warren and Francis Warren. Bro, I'm telling you right now, to me, that's not an even matchup, because George Warren is a serious individual, man, making serious deals with serious people, man. That's all I gotta say. That's my opinion. I think, like, since somebody said in the chat the other week, since he's taken the role at Queensbury, you can see like things are happening with him at the helm driving it. Things are really, really happening. That's just my opinion. Crazy D3 says, George is another silver spoon. Maybe he's not as narcissistic as Fast Car. Do you know what? It's interesting. We could see. I mean, there's no doubt George would have had an easier life, but I think a lot of the good stuff that you're seeing coming out of Queensbury is deals that have been done. George Warren's the one doing the deals on a day-to-day basis. It ain't Frank Warren. I can tell you that for a cast iron fact. It's not Frank. So the little deals that you're seeing, Canelo versus Plant for Undisputed ended up on BT Sport. Amanda Serrano fighting on BT Sport and working with Jake Paul. People don't understand the little things that are going on. I think Queensbury and Jake Paul are going to do business in the future. 100%. I could be wrong on that, but I see Queensbury and Jake Paul doing business in the future. You got to look at little things that are going on, Look. Telling you. If you look at the things that are going on, moves are being made, mate. Moves are being made. Look, see what I mean? Look, to Jake Paul, thank you, Frank and George Warren, BT Sport Boxing. We have many more to do together. They're gonna go and they're gonna try and do as much work as they can together. So, like I said, that's why I said yesterday. If you see Jake Paul fight in the UK, don't be surprised if you see him on BT Sport. Could be on Matchroom, could be on DAZN, but don't be surprised if you see Jake Paul in the UK on BT Sport, because, like I said before, George is working on building those relationships and taking it places. So I could be wrong there. But anyway, I'm just saying. I don't know how you feel about it. Let me get on to your comments before you move on. What do you think? I don't really follow the whole promotion thing, the promoter thing. I'm more interested in the fights. But what do you think? Give me your last words on DAZN and Eddie Hearn. How do you think it's worked out and so far? And do you think Eddie's made a big mistake and whatnot? To me, honestly, just, I'm sure, there's a case Matchroom is still the number one in the UK. That's fine. But to me, not as strong as they used to be. And like I said, it's Box Nation all over again. That's I can't believe people can't see the irony in what's happened here. Eddie Hearn has basically done exactly the same thing that Frank Warren tried to do 15, 20 years ago, but at a much larger scale. Maybe it'll work out because DAZN have got much bigger backing and they've got, very, very big rights in other countries, right? But I'm just saying, like, to me, in a nutshell, let me know if you think I'm wrong, but it looks like Eddie Hearn is basically falling into the same trap that Frank Warren fell into 20 years ago. Only difference is DAZN have absolute mega backing by a Ukrainian billionaire, and that's the difference. And Frank Warren didn't have as big a backing. So there's definitely more chance of DAZN being infinitely successful than Box Nation ever was. But for me, if you look at it, to me, it could be the He could have made a bit of a mistake there, but time will tell. Time will tell. Let's have a look. I miss Atlanta Sports. Fucking hell, I don't. Shevin says Eddie made a wise choice, but it was for the short term. He's done as soon as he's burned bridges with the big networks. He will need when what's it to me? Oh, I see. He's done as soon as he's burned bridges with the big networks. He will need when DAZN are out of boxing. I don't know what will happen. It is what it is. Like I said before, look, I'm not bothered about DAZN either way. Couldn't care less really. You know what I mean? If they're in boxing, if they're out of boxing, For me, it doesn't bother. Flitzy says, anyone noticed Joshua Barazzi was at BT Sport? Frank giving more airtime to Hearn's own fighter? I don't know. I mean, we've never seen the subscription. We don't get subscription numbers, do we, from DAZN? And we don't find out how many people watch each show. So we don't know. Maybe Joshua Barazzi's getting loads of exposure on DAZN. But if you'd asked me 10 years ago, would Joshua Barazzi have been a pundit on BT Sport? Would have been a pundit on Box Nation for an Anthony Yarde fight while contracted to Matchroom and Sky? The answer for me is no. That's just my opinion. I don't think that would have happened. Right, let's quickly move on to something different. I don't want to keep talking about promoters all the time because it's just a waste of time, really. And, you know, like I said before, we've got a problem in boxing where people are more concerned with fucking money and promoters and stuff than they're concerned about the actual fights, which is kind of stupid in my humble opinion. There was another topic that I wanted to quickly talk about before we go. Yes, quickly. I want to go back to Yarde and Beterbiev very quickly, if you don't mind. So, the stuff that I'm seeing online, yeah, all right, which is very, very interesting. Let me just have a quick spit. What's that? Oh, dear. Got a problem there. Right. People saying, can't give Anthony Yarde credit because we can't sort of praise mediocrity and stuff. We can't praise mediocrity. We can't praise a guy when he's losing. And this. Do you not think, I could be wrong in this, but I'm seeing a bit of a moving of the goalposts here in relation to Anthony Yarde's performance? Because, like, people like me, right, said that Anthony Yarde was going to get stuffed, right? People like me came on. I thought this fight was a mismatch. I thought this fight was mismatch of the year, right? So people like me thought this fight is a complete mismatch. Anthony Yarde is going to get absolutely stuffed in this fight. This is a fight that shouldn't be happening, right? When he's performed and exceeded expectations in this fight, I'm now seeing, I had a little look on the YouTubes, and now I'm seeing in the comment sections a lot of stuff about, well, he lost. Why is Yarde so happy? Like, people were criticising this video of Anthony Yarde, and they were criticising the video of Anthony Yarde with BT Sports after the fight, saying, why is Yarde so happy? He's lost. He shouldn't be happy. He's a loser. Why would you be happy about losing? I've never seen anybody so happy for losing. No, I just think it just shows you the mentality of these keyboard warriors and these people and how they view professional athletes. You see what I mean? Like, don't even think he has the right. Like, he doesn't even have the right after a fight like that, right? He doesn't even have the right to come out and smile at the camera. He doesn't even have the right to come on and see the positives in his performance, you know? And to me, like I said, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it seems like to me this morning, there's a lot of moving the goalposts about Anthony Yarde's performance now. We're looking for ways not to give him credit. You know, this morning, I've seen comments in regards to, oh no, we can't give Yarde any credit because Beterbiev is a 38-year-old man. I saw somebody say, you know, Yarde should be knocking out 38-year-old man. He should be getting a 38-year-old man out of there. So they're criticising Anthony Yarde for that. Now they're criticising Anthony Yarde for smiling in the BT Sports interview saying, I've never seen anybody. In fact, I'll probably show you the comments if you don't believe me. If you just give me a second. I'll even bring, because we'll get YouTube up. Should be able to show YouTube comments. And people saying stuff like, you know, I've never seen someone so happy with losing and not. It's just, listen, man. And you know what it's coming from? It's coming from people who aren't even professional athletes. Does that make sense? It's coming from people who have never dieted in their fucking life. Or have never had to make weight in their life. Or have never been in a fucking fight in their life. And they're criticising professional athletes. They're telling professional athletes how they should think, act and behave after a professional boxing contest. Do you know what I mean? Even though you've never been in the ring or performed at any kind of level. Well, you know, I would say, you know, who are they to turn around and tell Anthony Yarde how he should be thinking, if he should be smiling or not, how he should be feeling, oh, well, you know, that's a loser mentality. Well, hold on a minute, mate. What would you know about winning mentality? You've never been in the ring before. Do you know what I mean? Like, I find it laughable. Do you not? Press 1 if you agree, press 2 if you disagree. Like, I find it laughable. Like, people who are professional athletes, who've never stepped foot in the ring, are criticising a professional athlete, telling the professional athlete if he should smile, if he shouldn't smile, what he should say after a fight, how he should behave after a fight, and trying to talk about winning mentality. Well, that's not what winners do. Winners do this. Well, how would you know what winners do? You're not a winner. You're on YouTube in the comment section sitting there with your hands in your trousers over a pot noodle. You ain't man enough to get in the ring. So what the fuck do you know about how pro fighters think or what pro fighters should do? How do you know? You never had a fight in your life. You've never been around a pro fighter. All you do is fucking sit on the internet behind camera. All you do is fucking sit behind camera talking about fucking pay-per-view numbers and shit. You ain't never been in a fucking ring before. You ain't done nothing. You won't go in. You wouldn't even get in the ring for a fucking spar. You all banging on about fucking pay-per-view sales and fucking and fucking stars in boxing. You can't fucking sit there telling professional fighters how to think. Let me see if I can find some of these comments. Hey Andre, hope you're doing well. Let me see if I can find some of these comments, because they were interesting. I have to say, like a couple of people were really putting it on Yarde, and it just, for me, like I said before, exactly, Mark Zola. People slagged off Wilder when he was acting like a bad loser. You can't win, like, and that's what I learned last night in boxing. Like, for me, like, you can't win, can you? You can't win. You absolutely can't win. If Yarde was down and depressed after the fight, people would slag Yarde off for being down and depressed and moody. You know, if Yarde, listen, press one if you agree with this, press two if you disagree. If Anthony Yarde came back and said, do you know what? I disagree with the stoppage. I thought I was up on the cards. I was winning the fight. The fight shouldn't have been stopped. I demand a rematch. You know, I believe in myself. Do you not think, yeah, that everybody in this comment section would be turning around going, yeah, Yarde's a fucking bum. Oh, Yarde's so deluded. Oh, Yarde, those cards were rigged. Man, Yarde's an idiot. He can't take it. Yarde's a sore loser. Can't believe Yarde thought he's actually win this fight. Yarde's a sore loser. He did it. They would slag Yarde off in it. If Yarde came out and turned around and said, you know what, no, I don't think the fight should have been stopped. I thought I was winning the fight. I was up on 2 cards. I thought I was in the fight. I should have carried on. Oh, Anthony Yarde's a sore loser. Anthony Yarde's fucking delusional. Anthony Yarde's fucking, you know what I mean? Anthony Yarde's got a bad attitude. Do you know what I mean? This and that. Anthony Yarde's this and that. So he can't win, can he? What can he do? And then if he smiles on camera and appears happy, when they turn it around and they're criticising Anthony Yarde for fucking smiling and saying he's got a loser mentality, so he can't win. Same as Tunde last night. If Tunde lets him carry on in that fight and he gets knocked out again, what's it going to be the next day? Oh, you see that Tunde Ajayi though? That corner work was terrible. Tunde should have pulled him out. He was clearly hurt. He didn't want it anymore. All Tunde cares about is a paycheck. All Tunde cares about is a paycheck. You know, Yarde needs to get rid of Tunde. Yarde needs to get rid of Tunde. And then Tunde fucking pulled him out early, and last night was Tunde pulled him out too early. Oh, Tunde, you can't win. Can you see what I mean? Like, with these people on the internet, you can never win. So why bother trying? You know, why bother trying? You can absolutely never win, you know? There are some people, and I've learned this today actually from a little interaction I had in a boxing gym just before I came on air with Riku. You know what I realised from a little interaction I had in a boxing gym, right? Because boxing gyms are full to the brim of muppets and numpties, yeah? Full of egotistical numpties, right? Do you know what I come to realise? No matter what you do sometimes, no matter how nice you are to somebody, no matter how much you try and show respect to somebody, some people just will not like you for whatever reason. Do you know what I mean? Press 1 if you agree, press 2 if you disagree. You know? No matter what you do in life, no matter how nice you are to a person, sometimes being nice to a person, sometimes people take kindness for weakness, sometimes people think you're an idiot, sometimes people get suspicious of you. Do you know what I mean? All sorts. I've seen it all. So, sometimes in life, some people just don't like you. They just don't like you. And there's nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do that is going to change their opinion, yeah? They've made their mind up, innit? They've made their mind up. And there's nothing you could do. You could hand them £1 million. You could, you know what I mean? You could jump into a burning house and bring their wife and kids out safe and sound. And they'd still find a reason not to like you. Do you know what I mean? And it is what it is. Don't waste your time with these people. One sec, Mrs. Ultra. Mrs. Ultra, I'm not ready for food jobs. I'm actually going to go back to the gym and hit the bag for 1 more hour and then come back and do some work, Mrs. Ultra. I'm mad, yes, but I'm having a tough time. I love you. Okay? Okay, cool. Yeah, you can't please everyone, can you? You can't please everyone. Do you see what I'm saying? And can you see like the stuff that's been having just the stuff that you're hearing online? Oh well, press 7. Press 7 if you've seen these comments online. Well, actually, Beterbiev was never hurt. He was never in any trouble. Like, I don't know what people are talking about. Like, Beterbiev was never hurt. He just went up the levels. Like, he just went up the levels. Like, Beterbiev was never in trouble at all. Like, you know, he was never in trouble at all. I've heard people say stuff like, "Oh, Beterbiev was never hurt. He just backed off a bit, took a breather, and then came back in." Yeah, what do fighters do when they're hurt and they're putting on a poker face? Yeah, they take a breather. Yeah. They take a breather, create distance, and then come back in again. What do fighters do when they get buzzed in fights? What do world-class fighters do when they get buzzed in fights? Take themselves out of the kill zone, create a bit of distance, get their head straight, take a breather, and then get up close again. Can you see all this shit that we're talking about? Day by day, can you see how they're trying to take away the achievements of Anthony Yarde? Do you know what I mean? They're trying to take away what little sister had. Oh, well, it don't matter anyway because, you know, at the end of the day, have you heard this one? Here's another one I've heard. Oh, well, but at the end of the day, he's been in the ring twice for 2 world title fights and he's been stopped twice. So, at the end of the day, it's not good enough. He's fought for 2 world title fights and he's been stopped twice in both fights. Well, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it as he was stopped by 2 of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. When Sergey Kovalev fought Canelo Alvarez, I thought Kovalev was ahead on the card until he got knocked out. In fact, wasn't Kovalev how was it? I think even on the DAZN card he was doing well. I thought Sergey Kovalev was ahead of Canelo Alvarez at the time where Canelo knocked him out. I thought Canelo needed the knockout. That was my opinion. Obviously, you know how these Canelo judges are, but I thought Kovalev performed with credit. And I thought Kovalev actually outboxed Canelo Alvarez for large portions of their fight. But, you know, so to me, you have to look at, you know, you can't just look at it like, well, Yarde had 2 losses against, you know, he fought for a world title fight twice, he got stopped twice. Well, yeah, but Yarde got in the ring with 2 of the greatest of all time. Sergey Kovalev was like, do you know where Sergey Kovalev was on the pound for pound ranking at one point? Kovalev was like number 2 or 3 in the pound for pound rankings. Like, do you know what? People forget what Sergey Kovalev was, you know? Do you know what I mean? People forget what Sergey Kovalev was. And I'm not saying he was at his peak when he fought Yarde, but people forget who Sergey Kovalev was. Kovalev was like Ring Magazine, like 2 or 3 in the pound for pound. Like, Kovalev was up there. For me, he beat Andre Ward clearly the first time around. I don't know how you feel about that, but for me, Andre Ward got a gift the first time around against Kovalev. He got a gift decision. He got an absolute gift. And I had Kovalev up in the second fight with Ward until Ward stopped him fair and square. So for me, look, that's the level of opposition who Yarde's been getting in the ring with. And I'm saying, like, there are plenty of British fighters out there who could turn around and say there was a world champion, innit? Well, Yarde never won a world title, but look at this guy. No disrespect, right? But I'm just going to call it how I see it. Look at this. Look at this. This guy was a fucking world champion. Johnny Nelson. How many Beterbievs and Kovalevs did he fight? And he was a fucking world champion for how many years, right? And every time he's on Sky Sports, Johnny Nelson, WBO world champion from this year to that year. How many Beterbievs and Kovalevs did Johnny Nelson fight in his career? British boxing's full of belt holders, mate. If you want belt holders, British boxing will give you a belt holder, no problem. They will give you a belt holder, no problem. We got belt holders galore over here. But how many Beterbievs did Johnny Nelson beat? And that's what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to just look at who are they fighting. Who did he fight? When did he fight? You know? Can't just write a guy off like that. If Anthony Yarde fought a lesser champion, right? Not Bivol, obviously, but if he'd have fought a lesser champion, if they'd have got him some random WBO guy, he'd be a world champion right now. He'd be a world champion. Do you know what I mean? What do you guys think about that? Give me your comments. Do you know what I mean? What do you think about that? I just think, like, it's a bit... Do you know what I mean? Like, it does annoy me, like, the way that the goalposts, in my opinion, the goalposts get moved. You can't just give a man credit. Do you know what I mean? It's too much for people to just say, look. But the right man won the fight. In my opinion, the right man won the fight. The scorecards were wrong. Beterbiev was ahead in the fight, in my opinion. Scorecards were wrong. Beterbiev was winning the fight. Beterbiev deserved to win the fight, and the right man won the fight. But Anthony Yarde put in an absolutely tremendous performance and deserves credit. And that's what I was trying to explain last night. You know, people saying, oh, his career's been mismanaged. He should never have been allowed in the ring. And you know what? A lot of that's probably true. Maybe his career has been mismanaged. But guess what? We can still give him credit. What do you think? We can still give him credit, can't we? Do you know what I think? We can still give him credit. Yeah, his career might have been mismanaged. Yeah, he shouldn't have been in the ring with Beterbiev. Yeah, you're probably right. Should have gone through British level. Yeah, you're probably right. Should have fought Hosea Burton. Yeah, you're probably right. Should have fought Callum Johnson. Yeah, you're probably right. Should have fought for a European title. But he didn't. And when he got in the ring, yeah, and he fought for world titles, he's performed with excellent credit. In fights that people will remember, you know. These are 2 fights. Like, people are saying that this will be a fight of the contender. Like, people remember fights like these. And I want people to understand that, you know, the importance of that. Because you know what? Listen, I hate to say this, right? This is going to be very controversial, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. Who would you say is the bigger celebrity in British boxing in this country? Right? Joe Calzaghe or Carl Froch? For me, in my opinion, Carl Froch is the more well-known fighter. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just my gut feeling. I haven't got the numbers with me. I'm not looking at pay-per-view numbers, right? I'm just saying, if you ask me, if I took Carl Froch, yeah, and put Carl Froch in a, you know, listen, when Carl Froch goes to America, yeah, when Carl Froch goes to America, they know who he is. Like, the hardcore boxing fans in America, they know Carl Froch, they surround him. I just feel like, for me, you look at Joe Calzaghe and Carl Froch, who's doing what with their career now? You know, Carl Froch is still on TV. He's still being asked for his opinion. He's a regular on the big boxing channels. Carl Froch is still very much in the public eye. Joe Calzaghe isn't really much in the public eye anymore, in my opinion. Why is that? Why is that? The reason why is because Carl Froch was in massive 50-50 fights in his peak. Did he win all of them? No, he didn't. But he took the fights. And that's what I'm saying. When it comes down to it, no one gives a fuck about Joe Calzaghe undefeated 40. Does anybody talk about that anymore? Really? Apart from on YouTube channels, does anybody still give a shit about Joe Calzaghe's undefeated record? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But there's a reason why Froch is still left, right and centre out there. On IFL TV, 120k views. On Sky Sports, 120k views. In the Boxing Hall of Fame. In the Boxing Hall of Fame. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason why Carl Froch is, in my opinion, just as well known, if not more well known. Because Carl Froch was in fights that people cared about. It wasn't just about the fact that he held belts, right? It wasn't just about the fact that he was a belt holder. The bottom line of it is, nobody can really remember, you know, Joe Calzaghe, Jeff Lacey, absolutely, right? But, you know, Joe Calzaghe had a lot of, under Frank Warren, Joe Calzaghe had a lot of title defenses that nobody really remembers. Whereas Froch, remember Froch and Ward. Froch and Butte. Froch and Butte. Instant classic, isn't it? Who remembers that one? I picked Carl Froch to win this fight, by the way. Who remembers this fight? It's a classic British boxing fight. Froch and Butte with Eddie Hearn running in the ring and nearly costing Carl Froch the damn fight. Remember that? Eddie Hearn running around and jumping in the ring. This is what people remember. Froch and Groves. These are the fights that people remember for years to come. That's how I feel about it, you know? So, like I said before, you know, belts are important, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I just think Yarde deserves a bit of credit, you know. That's what I feel about it, you know. And I don't think he's getting the respect he deserves, you know. You either pick him to win. If you pick him to win and he didn't win, I can understand. But if you're one of them people like me who thought it was a mismatch and he performed with credit, then we should give him credit. In my humble opinion. And just to say one more thing quickly about the Yarde thing. You know, Clarissa Shields last night tweeting about the Anthony Yarde fight. Look at this. Clarissa Shields tweeting about the Anthony Yarde fight. You've got Tony Harrison, who is one of the most skilled boxers I've ever seen, by the way. I think Tony Harrison. I've said it before. You talk about the technique of boxing, how to throw a right hand, how to throw a jab. One of the best I've ever seen, yeah, throwing a jab and a right hand is Tony Harrison. Like, Tony Harrison is a fucking textbook boxer, man. Tony Harrison is a textbook boxer. Look, Tony Harrison, I love Yarde. And there were other American fighters as well. We saw last night the tweet from Damian Lillard. Like, that's what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Anthony Yarde got a lot of attention last night. He got a lot of attention last night. People, more than he ever did for the Kovalev fight, he got a lot of attention. Like, people across the pond are looking at him now in a completely different way to how they've ever looked at him before. So it was what it was. Shane says, also Yarde learnt from the Kovalev fight when he started to get tired, he paced himself. Just took too much punishment. I just think, you know, like I said before, I think Yarde, if it wasn't for the punishment around his eye and the fact that Beterbiev is probably the most murderous puncher in boxing after Wilder, Yarde probably could have got there and done the distance. You know, I just thought it was what it was. You know, it was what it was. All right, I've got to keep trying not to show this. Is there any other boxing news quickly that anybody wants to talk about? I'm going to go back to the gym and try and have a session without upsetting people. Is there any Anything else we want to talk about? Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul has a rematch clause for if Jake loses. There you go. So if Jake loses, Jake gets a rematch clause. So you got a one-way rematch clause for Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul there. I think Tommy Fury's gonna nick this fight on points. But maybe I'm delusional. I could be absolutely delusional, but I'm gonna go with Tommy Fury on points. It's interesting. I want to see if people are gonna give Jake Paul criticism for that, just out of interest. Because I thought Tommy Fury's the one who's supposed to be scared of Jake Paul, but Jake Paul's got the one-way rematch clause, and the fight's not even been held in the UK. The fight's been held in a neutral location, but Jake Paul's got a one-way rematch clause, and the fight's been held in a mutual location. Okay. Interesting. I disagree, Andre, but we'll see. I've got Tommy winning that on points. I think Tommy's Jake Paul's the favourite 100%. Jake Paul is the favourite. Tommy Fury is not the favourite. The right prediction really is Jake Paul by knockout. But I think if Tommy can get through the early rounds, I think Tommy will outbox him. Tommy Fury's got very, very quick feet, quick hands. I think Jake Paul's is a one-handed fighter. I think if Tommy Fury can find a way to avoid that right hand, and he actually has the tools to do it. You know, he's got the tools to do it. He's got the hand speed, he's got the foot speed, and he's got the tools to do it. Tommy Fury, I'm not saying he's the greatest boxer, but he's got that start. He's got quick feet, quick hands, and he's a very, very herky-jerky fighter. He feints a lot, just like his brother when he boxes. He does a lot of feints. He's a very, very herky-jerky fighter. And I think Jake Paul's going to be biting on them feints all day long. But maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm going with Tommy Fury to win that fight on points, believe it or not. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury have both signed up for VADA drugs testing for the next month. Can anybody see the problem with VADA testing yet? Quickly. Who can see the problem with VADA testing? I laugh so much when I see people online saying, he's on VADA, so nothing's going on. He took VADA testing. Can anybody spot the problem with this? Jake Paul and Tommy Fury have signed up for VADA drugs testing for the next month, ahead of their fight on February 26th. Quickly in the comments, who can spot the problem with this, and who can spot the problem with VADA and VADA in this? And it's not VADA's problem, but who can spot the problem with this? It's a pretty obvious loophole, isn't there? Exactly. 4 weeks left. What's the fucking point? It's so stupid, isn't it? Because is anybody not seeing this trick yet? I don't want to out anybody, but you see a lot of boxers on social media, and they're retweeting this shit. You know, VADA released these tweets and they're saying, congratulations on X, Y, and Z have both joined the VADA program, and these boxers are retweeting this stuff. But you got to look at when are they joining VADA? When are they taking the VADA testing? A lot of these fighters are joining VADA like a fucking 4 weeks before the fight. It's ridiculous. 4 weeks before the fight. Congratulations to X, Y, and Z for joining the VADA program. Well, who gives a shit? I mean, if you get caught, 4 weeks out, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Surprised people don't clock onto that. You know when the fight's going to be. These fighters know. The promoter rings them up and says, are you interested in fighting XYZ in XYZ, right? Ultra, are you interested in fighting XYZ on this date? Yeah, I could be interested. Mate, I'm going straight on the gear. Straight on the gear. Straight on the gear. The negotiations take a few weeks. It takes a few weeks to set everything up. Get on the gear. By the time the fight's announced and the press conference is done and everything's sorted out, get off the gear. Then I'm going to sign up to VADA. Simple. This is ABC 2. This is simple stuff. It's so fucking simple. As soon as my promoter tells me, Ultra, are you interested in, we're looking to get you out. A lot of these fighters know when they're going to be out as well. Regardless of who they're fighting. So some fighters with Ultra, we're looking to get you out in February. We're looking to find an opponent to get you out for February. Well, okay. I'm going to start cycling on then. And then when the fight's announced and I'm done, I'm going to cycle off and join VADA. Come on, man. Come on. This stuff is fucking stupid, man. It's getting to the point where you might as well not even have testing. Let's see if anybody else can figure it out. What's going on there? One piss test for each. Essentially nothing. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. There you go. It's only a month away though. Nice try from both of them. There are a few smart people in the comments who have clocked onto this. I mean, it's just fucking absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous that anybody would think that really means anything. But it is what it is. Top ranks Cole Moretti has declared that they want to make Beterbiev versus Bivol next for the Undisputed Championship and will be reaching out to blah, blah, blah. That fight's not going to happen yet, is it? Because what's going on? The WBC aren't allowing Russians to go and fight for their title, are they? And Rob Tebber said something about this yesterday. Right? Didn't he? I think Rob Tebber, is it Bivol who can't fight for the WBC at the minute? Let me see what Rob Tebber's got a direct line to Mauricio Suleiman, yeah? So when Rob Tebber says anything related to the WBC, you know, he knows what he's talking about because he has got a direct line to Mauricio Suleiman himself. So from what I've heard from Rob Tebber in last night, he can't fight. He can't fight for the... Let me know if I'm wrong about that. I'm going to try and find a tweet, but I saw a tweet from Rob last night. And he's saying, like, I don't think Bivol can fight for the WBC. Here we go. Here's the tweet. Artur Beterbiev calls for an undisputed fight against Dmitry Bivol next. Callum Smith is the WBC mandatory and next in line, while the WBC will not sanction their title to be on the line against a Russian fighter in Bivol. This is what Darryl was saying yesterday. So... Rob Tebber's very close to the WBC, so I'd imagine he knows what's going on there. But as it stands, there you go. The WBC will not sanction their title to be on the line against a Russian fighter in Bivol. So, look, I think they should go ahead and do it anyway, you know? Fuck the belts, just do it. Everybody knows who the best fighter is, just do it. Just get in the ring and do it next. But realistically, will it happen next? Probably not. You know, boxing always finds a way to shoot itself in the foot. WBC really shouldn't be getting involved in political business, you know. Not allowing Russians to fight for... But maybe the WBC are concerned about some form of money laundering, and that's the reason why they've made that decision. Does that make sense? Maybe it's not even an anti-Russian thing per se, but maybe the WBC are concerned about money laundering. And that's the reason why they won't allow... I'm just guessing. I'm just putting stuff out my bottom. But maybe that's the reason why they're not allowing Russian fighters to fight for the WBC title. Maybe it's because they've got concerns over, you know, where some of this purse money would go, or where some of this money would go. I don't know. Maybe they're worried about some of the individuals that would be involved. I don't know. On the face of it, I don't agree with it. But maybe the WBC have their fucking reasons. Just looking through some of these last... things here. We've gone through the card already. The card was an absolute disgrace, etc., etc. Moses Atalma's opponent was an absolute disgrace. Tyson Fury last night was on. I don't know how anybody can say Fury doesn't suffer from depression. By the way, I don't know how anybody could say that. Anybody. I don't know how anybody could watch Tyson Fury last night and not think he's depressed. Can you not see the ups and downs that he goes through? Like, he was down. He was really down yesterday. Did you not think that? Fury wasn't his usual macho man self at all. You can see, like, last night, he was just chilled, wasn't he? You can see Fury was on a downer, wasn't he? He was having one of his down days, wasn't he? He was having one of his come downs, wasn't he? So, you can see last night in Fury there. You can see it there, look. Not fussed at all, hugging Jake Paul. No bravado, not trying to sell any pay-per-views, nothing. He was sitting ringside. He was laughing at Jake Paul cussing out Tommy Fury. He was laughing at Tommy Fury cussing out Jake Paul. You can see Fury last night was on a complete downer last night. A complete downer. I don't know. Maybe it's because I suffer from it as well. So, but for me, I can see, you know, I look at him and you can see, like, yesterday wasn't a good day for Fury. You can see there he's not himself. He has ups and downs. He's a clear candidate for bipolar or whatever it is. Clear candidate. I mean, the man goes up and down like a yo-yo. And I think that's it. Right, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to ask any questions you want to ask. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes because the comment section's a little bit delayed. So while I've got you some lovely pad work there from Trainer of the Year Tony Sims, now's the time. If you want to ask me a question, now's the time. Would Fury be as good a fighter without depression? Maybe not. Maybe the fact that he's depressed, he has to train so hard to sort of keep his mental health right. So maybe it's helped him. Maybe in some ways saved his career. Maybe if he didn't have so many lows, he'd still be out there doing well. Listen, let me tell you something. Tyson Fury is not teetotal. Let me tell you that right now. Like, anybody who thinks he's teetotal is delusional. Tyson Fury is not teetotal. He is not teetotal. So I don't care what he or anybody else says, but if you want me to believe his demons are gone, Tyson Fury is still battling his demons every single day. Hint, hint, hint. There's no way he's teetotal in a million years. In a million years. Better than before? Possibly. But is Tyson Fury teetotal? Not even close, in my opinion. Bivol will be Arthur after last night? Yeah, I don't know. Lyndon Arthur versus Bivol. I'm going with Lyndon Arthur. Nah, I'm only kidding. Let's have a look. Shevin says, what are you focusing on at the gym today? Try not to piss people off is what I'll be focusing on. Try not to upset people and piss people off and stuff like that is what I'll be doing. Probably looking to try and train by myself and get away from some of the egos in the fucking gym, mate. Because sometimes it just gets... sometimes, you know, some of the people you come across just gets a bit fucking... it just gets a bit ridiculous. LD Phoenix says, Ultra, you said Jake's a one-handed fighter. Watch his combinations versus Silver. He isn't? Okay, maybe I need to watch him. For me, it's all about his overhand right. For me, if he doesn't have an overhand right, he doesn't have much else. But I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. Mind Your Business says, I can tell when Tyson is on the gear or just booze. You can't hide it. I'm not going to make any comment on that. I've made all my comments before. So the comments are going to be a little bit slow to come in. Let me just see if YouTube's quicker. Oh, here we go. A little bit quicker. Ultra, random question. Thoughts on Gym Group and David Lloyd gyms? Gym Group. What is Gym Group? I'm not really in shape at the minute. I put on a couple of kilos actually, so I'm not really a big. I'm not really on it at the minute. I haven't really been training. What are we talking about here? Gym Group versus David Lloyd. David Lloyd's the premier gym, isn't it? My dad's a member of David Lloyd. You can spend loads of money in a David Lloyd, can't you? You can easily, in a David Lloyd, you can easily spend, what, 200-300 quid a month in David Lloyd, easily. They've got everything in there. They've got spas, they've got fucking bars, they've got food, they've got everything. My dad must have spent half his life savings in a David Lloyd, and he never lost a pound. Never lost a pound in there. You go and play squash, and then you go and eat a fucking 3-course meal afterwards, muppet. So what's the point in being in the gym? But that's how they get you at gyms like David Lloyd, you see. It's more about a social event. You know, a lot of business people go to David Lloyd. My dad actually does very well for himself. My dad does very, very well for himself. Not that I'll be seeing any of it, because he's definitely cut me out of his will. But if I was to be in my dad's will, let me tell you, I wouldn't be worried about the future, because he does well. Not a millionaire or anything, but he's really smart with money, and he's put a lot of money away. And he's a 6-figure earner, and he's paid off his mortgage, and he's a director. He's a company director. So he either works at companies, or if he goes to work at a company, he's a director. So he's director level, consultant level. So my dad's like, you know, is a top level guy. He's, you know, a lot of these gyms, David Lloyd gyms, a lot of networking goes on there. A lot of deals get done there. A lot of networking gets done there. A lot of rich people in there. A lot of people go in there to chase tails. But, you know, if you're going in there to sort of, you know, really, really get in shape, you can do it. I mean, the good thing about a David Lloyd is you haven't got to deal with riffraff, have you? It's like why do I go to weight? It's like saying, well, why do you go to Waitrose? It's Ultra. It's the same as Tesco. Well, it's not really, is it? Do you know what I mean? Now I go to Waitrose to avoid riffraff, innit? That's why I go in it. Obviously, the food's better as well, but like, do you know what I mean? I go to Waitrose to just avoid having to deal also with just, you know, it's a much more pleasant shopping experience. I don't think anybody's ever been to Waitrose and been to Tesco's can argue that. Do you know what I mean? Look at this stuff. Look, this kind of stuff that you see here just doesn't happen in Waitrose. Look at this stuff here. Look, dailymail.co.uk, the nation's favourite newspaper. Food fight. Tesco shoppers grapple over yellow sticker items in the reduced section as cost of living crisis bites. Look, maybe we can get it. Do you reckon we can play this video? Let's see. Jesus Christ. I've got to be careful what I say here, but let's see if we can play this video here. Just give me 1 sec, yeah? I'll play it for you. Actually, no, I don't need to. Let's not play it. Here's the video. Oh, this kind of stuff. Look at this stuff. Like, you just don't get that in Waitrose, mate. You know, fighting over the yellow sticker stuff. It's anyway. I mean, it's all a bit of a laugh. They're having a bit of a laugh over it, but quite frankly, look, it's just you know, it's beyond embarrassing. You know, for me, you know what I mean. Like for me, it's embarrassing. You know, have a bit of decorum about yourself, innit? Have a bit of decorum about yourself, innit? Do you know what I mean? Personally, me, like how I live my life, right? This is how I live my life, innit? I live my life like this. People can do what they want to do as long as they don't hurt other people. I don't get involved. I let people live their life, right? But I do look to avoid people like this. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I look to avoid like, if you want to live your life, if you want to do all this and that, that's fine. Live your life the way you want to live your life. And I'm super cool with that, yeah? But I will, if I don't agree with the way you live your life, I will try to avoid you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I won't try to, like, you know, change you or change your opinion or change what you do. Do you know what I mean? But I just, do you know what I mean? I just, you know, avoid those people. And that's the reason why I go to Waitrose. Do you know what I mean? You would see this behaviour even if the cost of living was normal. Yeah, you probably would. You probably would. It was what it was. Look, nothing to do with the cost of living. They've always fought over reduced items. I know. I worked there for 21 years. So look, you know, like I said before, it's about quality, isn't it? It's about quality of lifestyle, isn't it? Do you not think? So that's what I'm saying, boxing Barry. What type of guy are you, isn't it? It's like, you know, David Lloyd gyms are a monumental waste of money, but then at the same time, you haven't got to deal with riffraff. Should we have a quick look at David Lloyd? You haven't got to deal with riffraff, have you? Do you know what I mean? Like, the prices are high for a reason, aren't they? Like, you know, if you go to David Lloyd, right, and you go into the David Lloyd swimming pool, it's probably going to be a lot less piss in a David Lloyd swimming pool than there would be at your local leisure centre. Press 1 if you'd agree with that, press 2 if you disagree, innit? Like, you know, you get in a swimming pool at a David Lloyd, and yeah, there'll be piss in it, but do you know what I mean? Won't be as bad as, do you know what I mean, going to your local gym. Do you know what I mean? Look at this. It's what happens when you go to David Lloyd, isn't it? Yeah, you could probably drink this water and not end up in hospital, right? Now, if you go to some of the other shit out there, was it Pure Gym or whatever this? What was the other shit? Pure Gym and all this other bollocks, yeah, that people bang on about. What is it? Pure Gym and all these other gyms. And yeah, you accidentally ingest some of this water, and you'd be in hospital for 3.5 weeks because everyone's pissing in it. That's what people do, innit? You know, low prices. That's what you get when you get low prices. That's what people say. Oh, I want prices lowered. Nah, I want prices increased. I want prices lowered. No, I want prices increased. So people like this can't come anywhere near me. Jesus Christ, that's very Tory, even from my standards, isn't it? I want prices increased. I want to see price rises, not decreases. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to have to share fucking O2 with such and such. Anyway, let's Jason, how have you been finding Waitrose? Jason, give us a thing in Waitrose. How do you find it? What have you found to be like the things in Waitrose? Have you thought there's a difference? You know what, Jason? To be honest, let me quickly say this, yeah, about Waitrose, right? You don't even like don't buy branded stuff in Waitrose, right? Let me make this clear, and I've got to make this clear. Anybody who buys branded items in M&S or Waitrose is a nut job. Do not buy branded food in M&S. Like, never buy a bottle of Coke from M&S. That's so stupid to buy a bottle of, like, Coca-Cola. Don't buy any of that stuff. You only go to Waitrose and M&S to buy Waitrose and M&S branded stuff. If you want to go and buy branded stuff, if you want to go and buy a bottle of Coke or something, go to Poundland or go to Aldi and buy, like, 5 of them for, like, you know, fucking 50p or something. That's sensible. It's like when we buy cleaning products, right? We don't buy cleaning products from Waitrose. That's just stupid. The missus goes to Wilkinson and does that. Why would you go to Waitrose? Don't buy branded items from Waitrose. That's fucking stupid. Having said that, look, you know, it is what it is. So if you don't mind, I did say I would give Jason Walker some recommendations, actually. Ultra, have you tried Fentimans? No, what's Fentimans? What is that? What is that? If anybody else has got any boxing questions, we can talk about boxing. Just if anybody got any other questions, I've got work to do, but I'm going to quickly go back to the gym after this and quickly try and finish my workout without upsetting anybody, and then I'm going to come back. But we've got a bit of time. Let's have a look. Jason said something about the croissants. So amazing quality, is off the chain like Marks and Sparks, but not as much cream and sugar. Their almond croissants come like cakes off the chain. So let me see what they got here. In the meantime, see, look. This is a bit taking the piss, but look, if you're into sweet things, right? I think for sweet things, M&S is the best. But I'll quickly say this: if anybody wants to try this, let me know what they feel. I prefer Waitrose eclairs to these, but these are probably the best eclairs you can get, right? From a supermarket. But my recommendation of the week. Now, these will set you back a £5, but honestly, hand on heart now. Here we go. So it's this here. And it's the Marks and Spencer's best ever eclair. Now, it is a bit much. You know, cost of living crisis, and you're spending £5 on an eclair. Are we taking the piss? We're taking the piss. But the quality of it, I'm talking about for supermarket food, is on a different level. Is on a different level, to be honest. So that would be my recommendation of the week. But it is a bit much. I'll tell you a great alternative, Jason, if you like eclairs and you're in Waitrose, is the Waitrose, the very, very cheap Belgian Waitrose #1 eclairs. I'll show you the packaging. Hold on. These are cheap, and I buy these all. I actually prefer these to the M&S ones, because the M&S ones are just they're a bit too sickly even for me. It's not these essential ones. It's another one. It's the I'll find it in a minute, and I'll have a look at it. Oh, Fentimans is the soft drink. I think I have had that actually. I'll Google it. Here we go. This is the one, Jason. So these for me, these Waitrose and Partners. These for me, these are my favourite eclairs. I go for these every single time. Like, they're levels above this. Look, you can taste the difference between these from Sainsbury's and these from Waitrose. I promise you. And these are actually quite cheap. If you really want to push the boat out, go to M&S and get two of them for £5. But they are really good, and you will understand the reason. Right, Fentimans, or I think I have had Fentimans actually. Let me just see. Let me just have a Google. I think, do they do like ginger beer, or do they do that fizzy raspberry drink or something? Fentimans, it rings a bell. Let's have a look. Fentimans. Here we go. And yes, I have had this. Yes, I have had Fentimans. Yes, the wife has brought me home. We've had the rose lemonade. They do a vanilla cola as well, don't they? It's very good. It's very good. Don't they do a vanilla cola as well? There's another one they do. Here we go. Here are the flavors. Is it cherry cola or something? Cherry cola. I don't know. Rose lemonade we've had, and we've had the ginger beer. I'm sure they do a ginger beer as well. Or they do the rose lemonade. The cherry cola and the rose lemonade. Yeah, Fentimans are okay. I've had that. Listen, the thing is, when you go to Waitrose, I don't think they have this D&G ginger beer. They don't have ethnic people food in Waitrose, really. So you can't get this stuff, innit? You can't get the old Jamaica in Waitrose. That's the one thing. For that, you need to go Tesco. I don't think they do I don't think they do that. Yeah, Fentimans is alright. There's another one as well that they do at Waitrose as well. There's another brand that they do. Hold on. There's another brand they do at Waitrose, which is very good as well. Hold on. Oh, Jesus. Jason's going to Abel & Cole. Bumper Clotte. Oh, you ain't no roadman, Jason. Jason, you ain't no... Do the shotters in the hood know that you be getting your deliveries from Abel & Cole? Jesus Christ almighty. Abel & Cole. Jason up in here telling people you're from the hood. Do people in the hood know that you go from Abel & Cole? Because you might have to lose your hood pass for that. Abel & Cole ain't no joke. Fever Tree. I think it might have been the one I was thinking about. Might have been Fever Tree or something else. Fentimans, Fever Tree. There's something else. I could be wrong. I'll figure it out another time. It's this one. It's this Krabby stuff. This John Krabby stuff. I'm sure I've had some of that as well. Sorry. Fentimans are a soft drink range, more expensive than regular soft drinks, but tastes smooth and clean. Does it really? I'm very, very glad to hear that. Right. Yeah. Abel and Cole. Let's have a look at Abel and Cole quickly before we go. Actually, hold on. Before we go, see Jason living the high life. Obviously, you know, it must be all the millions he gets to come on this channel and do our post fights. You can see we pay very generously. Abel and Cole. Let's have a look here. Right, what we got? Meat and fish from Abel and Cole. Fabulous. Oh, look at this. You get a little box. Oi, oi. Organic farm salmon fillets. Abel and Cole are like, you know, very well known, aren't they? They're probably how long have they been doing it? Like, they're probably the number one when it comes, especially when it comes to like organic fruit and veg. I'm sure they're probably the number one in the country, Abel and Cole. Like, they've been doing it for years. Fabulous meat and fish box. Weekly meat and fish box. Lovely. 3 delicious and versatile portions, blah, blah, blah. Two cuts of free range organic meat and 1 sustainably sourced fish. What's the fish like, Jason, if you've had it before? The fish is good. And you've got, look at this. I like that chicken. You see, that's a proper chicken. You can see with chicken. Let me tell you before I go. Last thing before I go. See this chicken? Can you see the yellow on the chicken? I don't know if you guys can see, but can you see the yellow around the chicken? That's corn-fed chicken. So that's corn-fed chicken. Now, what some supermarkets try to do, Sainsbury's, for an example, is they try and paint on the yellow stuff. Very, very deceptive, you know. Sainsbury's will try and paint on yellow paste on their chicken to try and give customers the impression that it's been corn-fed. Or even though the chicken's been fed a little bit of corn, they will paste yellow shit on the chicken. I'm trying to get a picture of it. It's literally like being, and then you can literally see the yellow paste on it. You can literally see, you can actually peel it off. So someone's been a bit naughty, and they're actually, you know, they're trying to give that chicken the premium the premium look. They're trying to give that chicken the premium look, but actually you can see that it's actually just been pasted on, if that makes sense. You know what I'm talking about, innit? Go and get a chicken from Sainsbury's and you know what I'm talking about. Don't fall for that supermarket trick. You know, I mean, a few of them be doing that. Yeah, it is a corn-fed chicken, but it probably hasn't been fed that much corn. Does that make sense? You know, you guys never knew that. Listen, if you go to Sainsbury's and get some of their corn-fed chicken, you can actually scrape the yellow off it. Just get a knife and fork, you can scrape the yellow off it, because it's fucking paste. So is it a corn-fed chicken? Yes. It's probably been fed ear holes, arseholes, and eye holes, yeah? And it's probably been fed a grain of corn as well. But what they try and do is they then try and paint it. And let me see if I can get that. They then try and paint it and paint the chicken slightly yellow, or give it like a yellow colouring to try and convince you that. Do you know what I mean? Because you know, true organic, free-range, premium chicken, the skin is yellow because that's all the chickens eat, corn. So that's why the skin has that yellow tint. But Sainsbury's are trying to paint it on and shit. That's what they're doing. And then charging you fucking £8-9 for the chicken, man. They're trying to charge you £8-9 for the chicken, man. And you, man, want to ask me why I don't shop in Sainsbury's. Because I'm not an idiot. Okay. Take care of yourselves and each other.